ranking My Chemical Romance albums with conventional weapons included because I was told to do so by you guys, the fans. Fifth and worst is going to I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me My Whatever from 2002. And revisiting this album in 2024, it's really a great album, but something's got to be at the bottom. That's how this worst to best list works. There are no bad MCR albums. There's no bad music to be found on any of these guys. And I'm not sure how MCR are not higher than my 32nd favorite band, because that's where they are in my ranking system. But that's where they are, and that's where they're going to sit, because there's no new music coming from these guys. I remember this album being rougher than it is. Honey, This Mirror Isn't Big Enough, blah, blah, blah. Vampires, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of these songs really showcase and carry the band into stardom. And they're genuinely fantastic musical pieces, musical journeys within themselves. Demolition Lovers. Are you kidding me? That one's really great. This album slaps way more than I remembered it. And I really need to listen to this one more and maybe add a few more of these songs to my liked songs on Spotify. And you should too. We're moving on to bigger and better albums by My Chemical Romance. In fourth place, there's a scroller in my... a cursor in my way. There's a curse. There's like a witch's curse in my way. But now I can see. I once was blind, but now I see. In fourth place, I am placing 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. And I know you guys probably have this one higher. I visit this one way more than the debut because of songs like Helena, Give 'Em Hell, Kid, You Know What They Go Do to Guys Like Us in Prison, I'm Not Okay, The Ghost of You, The Jet Set Life, Thank You for the Venom. Thank You for the Venom is one of my favorite songs of all time. I downloaded that one in the early days of downloading MP3s. And even if this album doesn't have the band reaching its full potential here, like some of you guys think that they did this early on, this is a near perfect record, even with the gosh darn interlude in the middle. And man, I hate those things. I hate interludes. Excuse me for a minute. God, clean and fresh, never tasted so bad. Third place, and this is where this ranking is different than other MCR album rankings. I included Conventional Weapons, and it's right here at third place. It's a compilation of songs recorded in 2009 and containing some really good ones like The World is Ugly, Ambulance, as Family Matters would have us say, and Gun. And let's go ahead and rank the parts of Conventional Weapons while we're here and doing this. Are you ready, Frankie? Are you ready, Mikey? We're going to just do it real quick. The parts of Conventional Weapons. It's going to be 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. And I'm not going to tell you if that's worst to best or best to worst. You have to figure it out in the comments. Okay? Second place for the second best My Chemical Romance album. We've only got 2 more records here, guys. We got Danger Days. And I know that Danger Days and the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys is a gorgeous, gorgeous record. The flavor of the chemical on this record is delicious. And if you know any albums that sound kind of like this one, you need to leave a comment right now, because this is like 1,000 pieces of raspberry candy exploding into my mouth. You animal. Bulletproof Heart is perfect, ethereal. Planetary Go goes hard. Save Yourselves and I'll Hold Them Back is an explosive rocker that just might rip a fabric of time in the space-time Deadpool and Wolverine for some reason. And if you have time, your mother. Wow. I could just spend a week in the desert partying with this record, with this band, and I think that it's a very therapeutic sound. Can we do that? Can I get some therapy from MCR in the desert? Go out and just like everybody have like a Danger Days party? RSVP, we'll do it. Danger Days is a perfect and transcendent album, but there's one album that goes harder, perfecter, and blacker. It parades a perfect MCR in front of our eardrums and rocks like Green Day's American Idiot in a lot of ways, and yet it doesn't feel like a ripoff. Concept record with iconic visuals, a track list that bounces back and forth between fast and slow songs. Both albums have 13 tracks. Yet it's not a ripoff of American Idiot somehow. I almost put Danger Days first. But I don't want to be a dead man walking. You know what I mean? But Ray Toro said it best and said it true when he said he wanted something to put out that 20, 30 years from its release, parents would be playing it for their kids and say, this is what I was listening to when I was your age. Check it out. It's still cool. And we wanted to make a record that you could do that with, that you could pass down. And there's a lot of music out now that doesn't feel that way. That was a loose interpretation of the Ray Toro guy saying those things. Oh, and by the way, while we're talking about the Black Parade, let's talk about the best songs on this best MCR album, this institution of punk rock. Mama, featuring Liza Minnelli, and absolutely Mindfamerica. A literal journey into hell with Liza Minnelli at your Liza Minnelli at your side. Whoa! When you're going through the portal to the end, it messes up your vocal cords. Cancer. Oh God. I remember hearing my mom react to this song during her cancer treatment. I remember going through my own cancer treatment, and I remember crying in agony to this song while sharing it with someone in my car. Damn. And I kind of did what MCR does, where that was not necessarily in chronological order. Teenagers, I'm going to have to specify what I'm meaning here. The song called Teenagers is fun, and I find it odd that their biggest hit is Teenagers. But it is their most streamed song, and I guess it's their biggest hit. It's like the song they're known for, which I thought it would be like I'm Not Okay or maybe the Black Parade, but it's Teenagers. But it just feels wrong somehow. Every song on the Black Parade is 1,000% 0.9 rocking. It's an emotional, perfect record. I can say I do have a least favorite song. I do, if I'm going to skip a track on the Black Parade, I typically skip Sleep, which is my least favorite song. It took a long time to even like that one, but it's a good song. It's just my least favorite. It's the Hoshinka off this record. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. The second greatest MCR song of all time is Famous Last Words. This is the song that made me stop and go, wait a minute, this is a band that are onto something here. Like, I saw these guys open for Green Day in 2005, and I was very, wasn't my thing. They were really people knew who they were, but like they were kind of, we didn't think they were necessarily like on that level to open for Green Day at that time in 2005. But the Famous Last Words, it blasted in Walmart stores. The rapid fire lyrics that are so darn hard to sing along to without losing your breath. I am not afraid to walk this world alone, and if you blow your big foot, I will blow 'em home. Um, it's just, that's one of my favorite songs ever created. It's heartfelt, powerful, it gets into your body and soul. And have you heard the news that you're great? I sang that just for you, famous last words. And now, what you've all been waiting for, the best piece of media from the MCR band, the number one song of all space and time and coffee, goes to The Sharpest Lives. This is a heavy-hitting song with whispered, layered vocals on top of crying, screaming, explosions. This is one rock song that has everything that a rock song could have. The title plays on the idea that lives sound like knives because rhyme schemes are something about oranges, and the sharpest knives kill that annoying orange are Indeed. Those salaries on Indeed are not correct. It's like janitor makes $500,000 an hour, and you call them and it's like $5 a day. Sharpest lives are indeed the deadliest to lead because some will die by the blade before they even know they've been cut. This is some profound nonsense right here.